Falcha, hello and welcome to Whisky Tour Guide Keith's Whisky Vlog. My name is Keith, and as well as here on YouTube, you can find me on Instagram at Whisky Tour Guide Keith. Now, in my day job, I am a tour guide and I work in Scotland. This is my patch here. We'll be looking at the map a little bit later on. Now, this video, the channel is going to be primarily about whisky, single malt whisky, Scottish single malt whisky. But as well as whisky, I'll also be expanding things out and giving you little tips and information about Scotland as well. Now, some of you might not already know me. Friends, colleagues, hello, how are you doing? I hope you are well. Some of you may have been on my bus before, coming on tour with me. Hello again. Apologies in advance for forgetting your name the next time we meet up. But hopefully we'll see each other again at some point. Some people watching this might not know me at all. Well, hopefully this is the start of a future friendship, and who knows, maybe in the future at some point we can raise a glass together. Now, first of all, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what I do, and then we will tell you a little bit more as well about what this channel is going to be all about, the whisky things that I'm going to be covering. Now, in my day job, as I say, a tour guide in Scotland, if you can't already tell with the accent, I have a handy little pointer here. So, also with a handy map, if you can just indulge me for a second. Obviously, this is Scotland. Hopefully, you know that much. Now, in my job, I'm based in Edinburgh, the capital of Scotland down here, and we go in all directions. Now, this is the Highlands of Scotland, the north and the west, and the east and the south of Scotland is the lowlands, two completely different landscapes. The Highlands was originally a completely different continent, or as part of a different continent. So the land in the Highlands is rugged, it's mountainous, it's maybe what Scotland's most famous for. Down here in the lowlands, the east and the south, it's much more lush, fertile farmland, arable farmland, and most of the population in Scotland lives in what we call the central belt and up the east coast: Edinburgh, Glasgow, Stirling, Perth, Dundee, Aberdeen, the main population centres, the biggest cities and towns. Now, I go all over Scotland in my day job. We head up to this area here. This is Fife. You may have heard of St Andrews, famous for its golf. We go up into the Highlands. This is the Speyside area. Spend a fair amount of time up there on the River Spey, all the whisky distilleries. Across, you've got Inverness, you've got Loch Ness, world famous of course. Up away around here is the North Coast 500. Some spectacular scenery, some mountains. I'm up on the Orkney Islands, this archipelago away up here. I spend some time on the Isle of Skye. Out here on the Outer Hebrides, the islands of Lewis, Harris, you've got North and South Uist, you've got Benbecula. As you come down, you've got other islands like Mull, Islay, the Isle of Arran. The west coast, places like Loch Lomond, of course famous for the song. And even down in the borders, it's an underappreciated part of Scotland. Lots of history, lots of great landscape, wild open spaces down in the south of Scotland as well. So we're all over Scotland. Sometimes we even venture across the border down into England. England, despite what you may have heard, it's not all that bad. So all day every day is different places, different directions, different times of year, different weather. Get to see Scotland in all its guises. And because I'm all over Scotland all the time, I am able to indulge in my favourite hobby, which of course is whisky, Scotland's national drink, single malt whisky. And because I'm all over Scotland all the time, I am in and out of distilleries all the time. So for instance, Talisker, you've probably heard of up in Skye. I'm in and out of the distilleries on Speyside, Glenlivet, Benromach, Glenfarclas, just to name a few. Over on the west coast you have Oban. Where are we? Oban down about here. Even in the central belt, distilleries like Glencoe, Deanston. Up in Aberfeldy you've got the Dewars distillery, and many more. Over on Islay, there's 9 distilleries. When I'm doing the Islay visits then in and out of all those distilleries. So what this allows me to do, as well as keeping up to date with what's happening in Scotland, also if there's a new distillery visitor centre opening, or maybe there's a new still being delivered somewhere, all these things, in my job I'm able to keep up to date with what is happening. And in these videos I'm going to be passing this knowledge on to you. I want to do some features for you on my favourite whisky bars. It might be hotels, it might be hotel bars, it might be pubs. The characters that frequent the bars and pubs, some of the people that work there, from Orkney all the way down to the borders over to Islay. Some fantastic whisky pubs and whisky bars in Scotland, some outstanding selections on order, so I'll show you some of those. I am also going to give you some stories from the road, some tales, maybe some tall tales, maybe even the odd joke or two as well. Try and keep you a little bit entertained as we go. And I'll also be doing just your standard whisky reviews, so your standard age statements. A lot of those, 10-year-old, 12-year-olds. My bag are single malts, and specifically single malts from Islay. The smokier, the peatier, the better for me. But I also do like things that have been matured maybe in things like sherry casks or port casks, something a little bit sweeter. So I'll be doing a lot of whisky reviews for you and trying to sort of educate you a little bit and keep you up to date with whisky. Last but not least, I would also like to do some tutorial videos, things about maybe the whisky regions in Scotland, how to taste whisky, basic stuff like that. There's a lot of jargon involved in whisky. I'd like to cut through that, make it simple. There's nothing to be worried about. In whisky there are no correct answers. If you like it, it's a good one. If you don't like it, try another one. There are thousands of single malts from Scotland. So I will help you to wade through all the jargon and simplify things a little bit as well. So look out for all these features. If this sounds interesting to you, then keep an eye open for @Whisky Tour Guide Keith. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, it's what you're supposed to do, so like and subscribe. Like and subscribe, you can see the subscribe button now, so like and subscribe. Thank you very much. Any questions you have, any comments, feel free, get in touch, and I can do tastings, I can let you know places to go in Scotland, as well as some of my favourite distilleries. I might tell you some of my least favourite distilleries, places to avoid as well. So all sorts of information, all sorts of whisky stuff. Let me know what you think, and we shall see you in future videos. Thank you very much for listening. Now before I go, one thing is missing. That's what it is. I have to have a little whisky. Now, very often if I'm introducing people to whiskies from Islay, I use this one here. Bowmore is the oldest distillery on Islay. This is just the Bowmore 12-year-old, their standard age statement. Lovely whisky. It's a sort of medium smoky Islay whisky. So if you've got one, feel free to pour one, or anything you do like. But let me indulge since we're here. Just a little one. So just remember, like and subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and we shall see you in the future. Ta-ta for now. Cheers, Slán de bheith.